Hello and welcome to Benjamin Bat. Hey, there he is. He's chowing away on this nice and tasty tomato. But before we get started here, I want to let you know this is a work with me video. So it's a little bit different than the ones we've done in chapter 1. So I wanted to take a moment and have you work through this one with me. When you're multiplying, like 2 times 4 equals 8, you can flip it around. You can go 4 times 2 also equal 8. So it will not change. But when you're doing division, 4 divided by 2 equals 2, and 2 divided by 4 equals 1/2. So it does matter which way you have these. The order definitely matters with division, where it did not with multiplication. So with that said, let's move on to our scenario. Benjamin Bat has 1/2 of a tomato, and here it is. Here's his 1/2. He wants to share it equally between himself and his 5 best bat friends for a total of 6 bats eating the tomato. How much will each bat get to eat? And here we go, my friends. So the first thing I want to do is remind you that in the past, we've been doing problems like this. 6 divided by 1/2, right? And we asked how many halves are in 6, right? Well, this time we're doing 1/2 because we only have half of the tomato, and then we're dividing it amongst those 6 bats. So it's going to look a little bit different. With that said, let's move on and start to solve this problem. So the first thing I'm going to do is go ahead and create a fraction box that's going to represent that tomato. So now here I have the whole tomato, but as you see, I only have half of it in reality that Benjamin here is eating away at, right? So that means I want to break it into 2 parts. And once again, if you look here, right up here, I've got the 1/2, so I get 1 out of 2. I need to make 2 parts, which means I'm going to draw 1 line and bam, now I have 2 parts. I get to color in one of those 2 parts. So I'm going to color this in red, right? And I'm going to color in the bottom half. And now this half here is representing the half of a tomato that Benjamin right there is eating. What I'd like you to do right now is go ahead and pause the video, create your fraction box, cut it in half, and fill in the bottom portion of that fraction box representing the tomato. And when you're ready, go ahead and hit play. Okay, so now here we've got our half of tomato. Now we need to divide it by those 6 bats, Benjamin and his 5 buddies, right? So that means I'm going to take this tomato and I'm going to cut it into 6 parts, right? So I'm going to cut down 6 parts, means 5 lines. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 lines will give me 6 parts. Let's just double check. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 parts, right? So now I would like you to pause the video and go ahead and draw your 5 lines to create the 6 parts. Go ahead and I will wait. Okay, here we go. So now we're thinking that each of these bats, and here's Benjamin, they each get one of these pieces, right? So let's say that this piece right here, I'm going to circle it in blue. This piece right here is good old Benjamin's piece of the tomato that he gets to eat, right? So he gets this one piece here, right? Now, this is not here because it's the part of the tomato that's empty, that's not there, right? So this is not here, but if you were counting it, you have to count the parts that aren't there as well. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So he gets one piece out of the 12 that would make up the entire or whole tomato. So how much does Benjamin get? And how much does each bat get? Each bat will get 1/12 of a tomato. And right there, my friends, is your answer. However, this is only the mathematical model. We also want to do the algorithm. However, before we do that, I would like you to pause the video and copy down all that I have here, and then we'll get going and solve for the algorithm. I'll wait for you, my friends. Alrighty, and here we go. So now I'm going to write the algorithm, and I'm going to just start off by writing I'm going to actually use a different color here. I'm going to go 1/2, and I'm going to divide it amongst those 6 bats, right? Then I will rewrite it as 1/2 divided by, and I'm going to just change this 6 into a fraction, an improper fraction of 6/1, right? So now you can solve this in one of two ways. You can either use your mountains and valleys and go like this, down, and then your valley up, and then you can get your answer that way, or you can multiply the reciprocal. I am going to show you both. The first one I'll do is multiplying the reciprocal. So for that, you're going to rewrite it again. You're going to go 1/2, and then you're going to change the division sign into a multiplication sign. So you multiply the reciprocal. Now the reciprocal is this fraction flipped upside down. So instead of 6/1, you'll have 1/6. So let's go ahead and do that. So 1/6, and that is called multiplying the reciprocal. And then with multiplying fractions, you just multiply your numerators and you multiply your denominators. So I'm going to get 1 times 1 is going to give me 1. And 2 times 6 will give me 12. And voila, my friend, look at that. That agrees with our mathematical model right there, which is beautiful, my friend. So I am going to move on to the mountains and valleys up here. But before I do, I would like you to copy all of this, and then we'll finish up with the mountains and valleys. So I'll wait for you for one momentito, my friend. Get copying. Alrighty, and here we go. Let's start first with the mountains. So I'm going to make a mountain here by going 2 times 6 is going to give me 12 for my denominator, right? And then I'm going to make an arrow. And then I'm going to do my valley, come down here. 1 times 1 is going to give me a 1 up here, right? And then as you see, I get 1/12 here, 1/12 here, and 1/12 right there. So they all agree, which is very important because they should, my friends, right? So that's all you got to do to solve this type of problem. I'd like you to go ahead and pause the video now and copy your mountains and valleys. That way you have both strategies. It does really not matter whether you use multiplying the reciprocal or mountains and valleys. Either one will work every single time for you. And until next time, I hope you have a fantastic day. I will see you soon.